Hello, everyone. Oh, we are really happy to be here. And there's Viviane. Thank you for
Hey,
coming.
Vianney. Yes.
Yeah. Well, this can be a private show for Viviane, and you can just join us right now and anyone else who's listening because backstage we were talking. I was talking with Thayer, and Thayer was talking about how to feel into the message a little bit more. And maybe you can kind of repeat that message, especially the part about how hard it is for the spirit to come in, and you have to honor the spirit
Spirit.
and work with them a little bit more. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, anybody who's doing any kind of psychic work or even mediumship work, and you open up your non-thinking intuitive mind, you have to remember that from the spirit world, the energy of the spirit world, they see that you're open and that they want to come and talk to somebody. It does take a lot of effort and time and intention for that spirit to come down and learn how to talk to you. So if you're receiving a message or an image and you might get a no or that isn't quite right, it doesn't mean that it's wrong because you have to like open up and honor the voice that is spending a lot of time and effort to say something. And so if you might get a yes or a no or a maybe, you need to just open up a little bit more so more information can come in because it's not wrong. It's how you're interpreting the message might be off. Your interpretation might be just enough off where the sitter can't quite relate to it. So it's not to give up or say no that information isn't wrong. It's you kind of say, okay, what are other words? What are other what's another way that I can communicate this more accurately so the sitter gets it? Because actually, you know, the energy of the spirit world is coming in because they want to tell their loved one something important. And it's good to get a little evidence and identify, yes, my brother liked cars. So then I know I've got the brother. So I don't have to spend a lot of energy on the evidence. And then I can go back and like I'll see the brother sitting in the car next to next to the sitter. He's with you all the time. So it's really learning how to open up and then interpret and feel the information you're getting. And everybody gets the information differently, but the information isn't necessarily wrong. And a lot of times, like when I was practicing and I'd get a no, oh, I'm wrong. I did something wrong. You kind of clam up. But no, it's not wrong. It's that, oh, okay, your brother worked on cars, or your brother liked cars, or your brother was killed in a car accident. So there's a lot of variations to that one image or that one feeling that you can go back and sort of one of my teachers said, the spirit is feeding you information drip, drip, drip to relax, which is hard when you get a no, that you relax and you allow more information to come in. And that's it. It's kind of like, you got on the horse, you figured out, you found the way to do it, but then you've got to get on and off to learn the different languages and learn how you interpret the images that you're getting. And it's very personal. But really, what was I saying to a friend the other day? I was filling up my humidifier and I got an image in my head of my old humidifier falling down and breaking. And I go, okay, so what, I didn't listen to that. I put my humidifier next to my bed. I'm making my bed. And what happens? The humidifier falls down and breaks. So that actually was a message from my guide saying, I'm giving you this image that you need to watch out that you don't break the humidifier that you have now. And, that's happened a couple of times. It's sort of like looking at the half and half, and I'm getting the message, get some half and half. And I go, no, I have plenty of half and half at home. I don't need it. I'm not going to spend the money. And then you go home and your half and half is sour. right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so it's the allowing and the trusting, which to me, who's very headstrong, they call me pit bull teeth, to trust the information you're getting. And I don't know, Susan Lynn was saying, like when you're traveling, you ask, should I go left or right? Like that's a good way to I remember I was down in Jersey and I had to go way down in southern Jersey to visit a teacher of mine, and she goes, let your guides find your way home, because New Jersey is a maze. And I'm at this crossroads and I get a message, take a right. Well, I didn't listen to it. I took a left and got lost. So it's those kinds of,
Yeah.
that's where the work comes from, is going, I have this idea, I'm not going to even think about it twice, I'm just going to do it. I have this feeling, I'm not going to question it, I'm just going to follow it. And that's really key to beginning to honor the messages you're getting from your guides or loved ones.
Thank
So
you. That's
yeah,
good info.
yeah.
Hey, thanks Thayer, and thanks everyone who's here. In addition to Viviane, we have G. Covington and Valerie S., Lauren Hunsinger, and Miss Charlotte. Yes, I have G. Covington and Valerie S.'s questions. Oh, there's Hypnicity and Valerie S.'s questions. So if you have a question, put it in the chat. Otherwise, we're just going to chat for a while. And I'm going to start by first thanking everybody who came and buckle up. I haven't done this for a while, so it might be a little bit of a bumpy ride, but thank you for understanding. But also, I just wanted to brag on Thayer for a little bit. And the reason that I do these shows at all is because of Thayer. At one point, you were on a regular rotation on Allie's meeting with the mediums, the Thursday night thing, and needed to take a break for a while. And you suggested very strongly that I step into your shoes, which, seemed like big shoes to fill. And I was like, nope, not going to do that. And you were persistent. You said, this will be good for you. And one thing that you told me that I've repeated to other people was it will exercise a muscle in a different way, or a new muscle. It'll exercise a new muscle. It's a different way of doing this, and it will strengthen your abilities by doing this in a different way. And I'll just be eternally grateful to you for that, because yes, I was scared and continue to be so a bit, but you were absolutely right. I could not have imagined that I could do this, and now it seems like not quite a normal thing, but almost, yeah. But it seems second nature. So,
yeah.
And another thing, okay, I'll brag a little bit more on you, and then you can talk. Another thing I really admire about you is that you've kind of, there are classes that lots of people have taken within our community, but you've reached out and gone and found your own path and found other teachers who are outside of the types of people that we all probably listen to, and found new ways. And I think it reminds me of when I worked in corporate America, and one of the big concerns was, we seem to have hired most of our MBAs they all got MBAs at the same college, the same local business college. And that can skew things. You need ideas, you need people with different attitudes and different training and different development, because it just brings the richness to the stew a lot. And I really admire you for doing that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's I like to gather a lot of knowledge, and I've come to the point where I took a lot of intensive classes from very good teachers, but then I had to stop because I started getting obedient to what people were telling me instead of trusting myself.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy I took the classes, because I learned a lot on how to navigate the information, and there was a lot of practice. But you do have to find and trust yourself in this. And it's really funny, Joan, because I didn't really know, like, when I do meet people, I kind of get a sense of who they are. And I didn't really know that that was psychic, that you would do a good job. It just came out naturally. Well, of course, Joan will do a good job. Of course, Joan is going to discover this part of herself that she hasn't for a while. And really, that is a download. That's a that is like a little bit of psychic information that I just get normally. And I think a lot of people in our audience probably do get a lot of channeled psychic information, but they're not aware of it because it's easy.
Yeah, it's just you've always done it.
Yeah, you've always done it, and that's a good way to pick up that what some guy said. First of all, you always want to state the obvious, because it's obvious to me doesn't mean it's obvious to everybody else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I admire that too, that you have to like go to classes and listen and learn, but then find your own way of doing things. Yeah. I do think that there's a lot of people, not so much in our community, but kind of some of the big names out there who say, well, this is the way it is. And it's, right. And it's because this is the way it is, because that's what worked for those people, and something, but it might not work the same way for everybody else. So I agree that it's good to listen to a lot of viewpoints and learn as much as we can, but then have to to do it ourselves and have our own interpretation.
Yeah. And I think that is an important message to everybody in the audience who's listening, is that your unique way of perceiving and opening up to different energies belongs to you, and that you have it for a reason. The way you interpret life and the way you read people or solve problems is a unique point. It's a unique matrix. So to try to be like somebody else, you can get hints and coaching, but to honor oneself is, I think also part of the magic, because it's part of that message that God gives you all the time. This self-love is important, because when we love self, we're also loving source, because we're part of source. And source made us in a certain way. So our uniqueness is a benefit, which I hope that people can follow that. I sort of come to that through my own struggles, and, well, this person's really good at this, and why don't I do this? And as soon as I said, well, I'm going to honor what I get, then things open up for me anyway. It's like everybody's got a job.
Right. Yeah. I've had more than one person say, I've had a lot of readings, and then they get a reading from me and they say, but I've never had a reading like that before. And right. At first I thought like, oh, am I not doing it right like everyone else? But now I feel like, well, good. I do something different, I guess. Yeah. But anyhow, Valerie, excuse me for interrupting.
And the different perspective. Sometimes you can have a reading, it's a different perspective, and it's just how it all comes through. It's kind of like, you're in a room full of people and you meet your friends. You go to that vibration, you meet your friends. And so sometimes readings can work like that, where it's bing, you totally get it.
Yeah. Viviani or Valerie S says, yes, most times I don't know if I'm speaking to myself or a guide or whoever. And that's just fine. That's how it begins. It has to get out of the logical, because I think a lot of people are like really hung up on, oh, what's my guide's name and all of that. And I just call them all spirit. Right. And right. I know it's not coming from me, but and it's easier for me to read for other people than it is for myself. And I have to do exactly what you're talking about, Valerie. I have to just let my imagination go. And then and that's sort of like the lubricant. It just sort of gets things going. And then pretty soon you can't tell, is this my imagination or is this something else? And then you test it and follow the advice or whatever you're getting. And if you get a positive result, hey, that's great. Excuse me, I didn't turn my phone off, and now it is off. Great. So yeah, I totally understand that. And Viviani is saying, sometimes I ask a question, wonder if the answers from guides or my wishful thinking the same idea. Yeah.
Well,
Um,
yeah. And
how
that's
would you respond to that?
if something is really important to me, like, does this guy like me? I ask Joan. Okay. I ask somebody who's not emotionally, if you're emotionally involved in it, I mean, you can be, it doesn't matter if you're so close to it and the answer is important to you. It's very difficult to find that distinction. And that's why you go to somebody else. And there's also the, the yes or no, the pressure kind of thing, which you can practice. There's like, where you do
The
the
muscle testing and
muscle
the
testing. Yeah. And you can do the pendulum. But if I'm very like, I don't read on politics, although I get downloads about it because I I want to kill. I'm so emotionally invested in it that it's difficult for me to get a perspective that's not influenced by my own personal
yeah.
involvement in it.
When
So
I
yeah,
want an answer, because it's really hard to read for myself too. But when I want the cold hard facts, I go to the tarot cards, and this is my deck that just doesn't pull any punches. It's told me things I really didn't want to hear for a long time, and I don't want to believe them, but it usually pans out.
it usually pans out. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
tarot cards are good for me too. Yeah.
Hey, and here is, and thank you for that question. I think also Purple Elephant Deb H said, just because it's all in your head doesn't mean it's not real. That's a very good way of putting it. Oh, let's see.
Steve
And so,
Jobs got a lot of his ideas about the Apple computer that way.
yeah.
So
And I think it's always a good idea. I mean, this is for someone who's studied journalism and just the facts, ma'am, and everything has to have two sources and all of that. But it's a good idea just to kind of live in your imagination in general for manifestation, if nothing else, to get used to that energy of how you want things to be. And the more you do that, that's the way to bring things to you. So yeah. Let's see who else. There's Wiki and Kindness and Light. That's a lovely name. Oops. Um, thank you, everyone. Feel free to put some questions in. Um, let's, and Wiki was here too. So let's, if you're ready, do you want to
yeah,
start in on some questions? Okay, here's
sure.
something
Yeah.
from G. Covington. Is my boss going to sell his company, my current employer, or has the deal fallen through? Okay.
Good kitty, good kitty, good kitty.
I got to know, is the key going to sell the company because the deal has fallen through? I got that was from the pendulum. Feel free to jump in while I kind of try to connect.
Yeah, I got that he's thinking about it. That it's kind of like your question, that even if the deal fell through, he's thinking about selling the company. I don't know whether he's gonna, but there's something going on with him that he's ready for a change. Um, and um, oh, no attack cat. Let's see. I'm also getting the feeling that you're a very good employee and that he would recommend you highly. That I'm just getting a feeling that your integrity is very good and your work ethic is very good. So no matter what happens, you'll either keep a job there or you'll be able to secure a job at another place. Because I don't feel like this question is coming from insecurity from you, and that you should keep the belief in yourself that way. Um, uh, and I feel like your boss wants to retire or wants to do something else. um, and that you probably already know this. So
Yeah.
yeah,
When I tried to tune in directly, all I saw was a woven basket, and it had different pieces in it, and they just weren't coming together, and it didn't have a bottom. So it wasn't, the deal itself wasn't knit together. And then I drew, because this is a direct answer, I drew a tarot card, and it's the lovers upside down. So the partnership or the sale isn't the deal. It's likely it's not going through. So yeah, and everything else is right side up here. So that's what we got. Um, I hope that resonates and makes sense to you. Let's see, I'm gonna just go
yeah.
over
Keep us
here.
posted, G. Covington. It's always
Yes,
nice to
really.
get feedback. But I think you're a very highly regarded employee.
Yeah, you're gonna be okay.
You're going to be okay. Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
getting
I'm just gonna start a couple more here. And excuse me, I'm going back and forth. There's probably a better way to do this. Valerie S. May I please have a message from spirit guides regarding a new beginning after much loss? Oh, I'm sorry for the loss. But good for you. I'm just kind of starting about spring. Spring is for new beginnings. So let's both do that. Okay, Valerie S. New beginnings.
I'm feeling a lot of sorrow. Perhaps sometimes the right decision doesn't always feel good. So I'm feeling like, you know, you've got a little heavy heart, and that there's, I got a hole in my heart, where I got a hole where my heart used to be. Um, and there's going to be a little bit of a fallow time where you're just going to be sort of getting used to it and getting ready, and then something new will come in. You'll create where you want to go, and I think you kind of have an idea of what you want to do, but I feel like give yourself some time to move through all the emotional stages that goes on with this loss, or I feel like you let go of some weight that you didn't need, and give yourself some time to settle in and recharge. But I do feel that you'll have a very creative new life ahead of you.
Beautiful. What I was seeing, and this is why I was sorting through my cards over here, it was kind of, the image I saw was kind of a cross between temperance, where it's all about balance, and you kind of have a foot in both worlds, one on the land and one on the water. But the sun is coming up in the background there, and the iris are blooming, and the star, where there are, she's dipping into the water there, and there are two, one on the land, one in the water. So it's like you have a foot in both worlds. You're at that transition point. You're ready to start anew, but it's a time for kind of honoring both, and God bless and send on its way everything, and say thank you for everything you've learned from whatever happened before, and now I'm going to use those skills and gently move forward. So it's almost like a dancer, when you transition from one leg to the other, or like a skier there, when you're hurtling down the mountain and you have to make just changing a slight movement, you're changing edges, and that's what's going to turn you the other way. And you're at that point where you're kind of on both feet, and then you put the edges in and you make that turn. So it's very much representing where you are now. So Spirit, tell us, yes, she's got a foot in both worlds. Now tell us about what the future. Tell me or show me what Valerie S.'s future in this new beginning is going to be. They're bringing my attention to the iris that we saw in one of those cards, and my memory is so bad I can't remember something I held up 30 seconds ago. But the new beginning, it's pointed toward fresh start, beauty, springing forth, new life, and trust it. Trust it as much as you trust the coming of spring. It might take longer, like it does here, than usual, but it's never failed us. Spring has always come, and this too is going to happen for you. Your new beginning is coming. You don't want to rush it. It might take longer, but it's on its way. And with that, the sweetness of another season. Oh, good luck with that, Valerie.
I'm seeing fertility, maybe a pet. I don't know how old you are, but I'm seeing a baby or fertility or something new being born, new, something nurturing and new that's coming into your life.
New life.
The iris, the iris is about growth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. A new season. That sounds wonderful. Okay, who do we have next here? Viviani, a message from my spirit team, please, about her past.
I'm getting rest and meditation. That it's a good time to take a couple of deep breaths, let go of the past, and let go, sort of letting go of old clothes, old identities, and to move into a place of stillness and meditation. And that could mean different things. It's not necessarily very strict meditation. To move into a new place so you can mirror and see something new in yourself and move forward. So you can listen to who you are and listen where to go next.
And I was seeing you just kind of moving along this path through a little small ups and downs on a lovely wooded hillside, green hills. And thought, okay, where's this going? And then all of a sudden, it's like you're in a sled or a toboggan, although it's green hills, it's not wintertime. And things pick up, things start moving faster. And I see you kind of like zooming down and then boom, around the corner. So the information is not so much about the downhill, it's about velocity, it's about speed, it's about things picking up and then taking a turn and taking you in new directions. So okay, Spirit, this being the case, what is the advice for Viviani? Be prepared, enjoy the quietness right now, and consider that a time of preparation. Anticipate this exciting time, this new adventure that's coming. And it's not like a really long descent or the speed part. It's more about picking up speed rather than it's not like some big plunge down. It's just an exciting new time that's coming up. So Spirit, can you give us some information, new opportunities? Okay, a new opportunity. And now I'm seeing a globe spinning and heard a whole new world. It was like a little globe, and it was spinning in the opposite direction. So it's going to be something that maybe you're not real familiar with. It's a new vantage point, a new take on things. Spirit, is there anything else that you can show us that will be a little more specific so Viviani can recognize this when it happens? I heard, raise your vibration, expect the best, and enjoy the ride. So I hope that sounds exciting and fun and not scary.
New light is coming in for you, Viviani.
Yeah. Okay. Next up is Miss Charlotte. Oh, hold it. I need to go back to here where I can see what people are actually saying. And okay. Viviani said, also removing clutter from my home. I've been meditating at night. Let's see. And great messages. Thank you. All right. Wonderful. Now, Miss Charlotte is saying, I would love a work reading, please. All right. Let's see what's happening at work for Miss Charlotte.
I'm picking up that you want to change. I'm feeling that you're bored and you want to do something new. Could be off, but I'm just feeling that you feel stuck and you'd like to do something new. That maybe you'd want to get a little bit more, have a little bit more spirituality or more spirit in your everyday life. And I'm hearing that you could practice that with the people around you, with that it might not necessarily be your work, but you can practice spiritual love and spiritual practices with the people around you. Because I feel like you want to expand yourself to new understandings and a new level. So I can't tell whether sometimes you think if I move, I'll have a different life, or if I move my work, I'll have a different life. Or if you stay and work the life that you have or the house you have, you might have a change. I'm not getting a yes or no on that, but I feel like you want to expand and grow and have more involvement or more connection in what you do every day. So, and I unfortunately am not getting a choice. I'm sort of getting that's where you're at now.
Okay. What I think I'm getting a different version of the same thing. I'm seeing what I saw was a pencil writing very, very fast, a nice sharp number 2, yellow pencil, and just writing, being very diligent and working very hard. But on the end of the pencil, on the eraser end, there's a little cap on it that has like a little doodad, a little toy or something. It looked like a little bunny with floppy ears or something like that. So all the work you're doing, it's flopping around and being kind of silly and fun. And so I don't know if you do that now or if you are being encouraged to do that either in this job or find something where you can both work and do an excellent job, because I got the idea that you're very diligent and do your work very well, but a place that you can also have fun, because that's one, whether it's with coworkers or there's just an atmosphere of we work hard, but we play hard too, and we get along, and there can be some laughs once in a while in between all the heaviness and all the stress and everything else of work. So Spirit, I need to go back and actually ask, are you saying, is the message for Miss Charlotte that she needs to bring fun into her current workplace? Yes. I'm going to stop it. Does this mean that Miss Charlotte should look for a different job into which she can bring a feeling of fun? Yes. So it's both. It means see if you can find that in your current workplace, and if not, it might be a place where they both appreciate you and they have that higher vibe approach to work where it's okay to have fun, as long as and the understanding that when you're working at a high level, it is fun at a high vibrational level. And I pulled a card for you. It's the Osprey. Your success is now at hand. Allow abundance to flow to you effortlessly. So let's see. A change would be nice. Yes. Thayer. So yeah.
I, yeah, I think both Joan and I are picking up that whatever how you manifest your change, that you need more challenges, and that if you do give yourself more challenges, you will be able to rise to it. You should have confidence that you can accomplish that. How that manifests, I don't know. That's above my pay grade at the moment.
Yeah.
But
Go
yeah,
ahead.
Both Joan and I got change would be really good for you.
Yeah. And whether that starts with using spiritual techniques to, it's like, hey, as long as I'm thinking about leaving entirely, why don't I do some little spiritual experiments about whatever it is that's at work now to see, just silently send energy and love to everybody there, or to your clients, or to the hardest people to work with. See if there's any effect or any way that, you don't have to come into work in a cloud suit or something, but if there's some way to lift the vibration and have that little bit of lightness there. And if it doesn't work, then that's your signal to go elsewhere. Thank you so much.
Yeah, keep us posted, Miss Charlotte. That's a cute little dog for your emoji.
Yes.
Sweet.
Darling. And here's Hypnicity.
Yeah.
Do you see me relocating in the next 5 years? Okay.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, and here's Miss Charlotte saying, sounds great. I do believe changing internal vibration will be extremely helpful too. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Good luck, my dear.
All right. Let's see.
And I'm getting confused again. We are on
Hypnicity.
Hypnicity. Yeah. There we go. Good.
I'm picking up a restlessness for you, Hypnicity. You kind of have a restlessness inside of you. And I don't know if the restlessness is an internal or that you want to get out of where you're living now, but I feel like whatever is going on, you're going to be making changes happen in your life. That you, again, it's a little bit like Charlotte, Miss Charlotte, the dog with the eyes. Is that you're kind of like, you want to change, you want to manifest a change, you want to move forward, and you're trying to figure out how that's going to look. So I do see whatever you put your mind to, you will be able to accomplish it. I don't see a lot of barriers in front of you in terms of whether you want to physically move or whether you want to move what's going on in your head and your mind in your everyday life. But a new location might be really nice. I'm seeing a relief of stress for you in the future. And I don't know whether that's a move or letting go or downsizing economically for you, but that you want to make your life easier and easier to manage. And I do see you accomplishing that in 5 years. Do you have a son? Do you have children? I'm getting that there's a boy or a son involved that you're concerned about now. That your life is centered around this person right now, and that will be relieved later on. That things are going to work out there. So, and I maybe to let the universe choose your direction. Or maybe your children will. Something will happen in your family structure that will choose your direction, I think. So
beautiful. And Hypnicity says, I'm a little antsy, not sure which direction physically to go. and that she could, oh, 2 grown stepsons, and
Right.
could sure use a release of stress. So what I got when I tuned in right away was, the burner on an electric stove, that coil, that's it, not quite that wide, but a little bit thinner. I just saw that kind of concentric circle and I was feeling it over my heart chakra. Like it's a journey and it's going to take you to the heart of the matter. I mean, what you really love, what you really want to do, what you really want to achieve. This journey is going to take you there. And and I don't know if that image, that coil, and it's a 2-dimensional coil, not like a spring going down that way. If that has any kind of meaning to you, okay. But Spirit, is it going to happen? I'm going to ask it this way: Spirit, is it going to happen? Is this move her heart's desire? Is this going to happen within 5 years? It's saying yes, but I heard. Okay, tell me again. But you have to start the process now because it's going to be a long journey. And then I pulled cards for you, and I got the Archangel of Serenity, who says, "Weave a new story." And it's interesting that she has the yin and yang symbol of balance there. Very beautiful. And then I drew kind of a yes/no card from the tarot deck, just to be clear, and got the Ace of Cups, which is a new beginning, an emotional new beginning, because it's cups and water and all of that. So I think that too goes to, this will be something, a new project that will go to your heart, but it's they are encouraging you to take steps toward it now. And the first step is to you don't even have to know exactly where it is you're going. Picture and live in the vibration of being, in the place that you want. And it's, you don't have to go into all the specifics, but the feeling of, yes, I wanted to be in a new place where all these other things can happen, and kind of just go there in your mind. And that's like starting the process.
And you might have a grandson coming up pretty soon. I don't know about those boys, but I saw a baby, a shift in the family. So, yeah, and your aging black lab, I think you're centering your life around the dog right now.
Okay. Yes, makes sense. Yeah. That resonates with your current emotions. Great. Grant me the serenity, says Synchronicity. Yes, indeed. Wonderful.
I do think you will be moving and making a change for the better, for your heart, that you're going to feel better in the next 5 years.
Changing internal vibration will help externally too. Excellent. Yeah. Good work. Let's see, what else is going on? So yes, if anybody else has questions, put them in the chat. And let's see. But let's take a break and talk more about Thayer.
Oh boy, my favorite subject.
Okay.
My mom always told me, you never talk about yourself. You always let the other person talk about themselves, because people love to talk about themselves.
Yes.
She's coaching me on proper dinner conversation.
Yes, everyone's favorite subject, themselves.
Yeah.
And I know that since my husband's passed and I'm alone most of the time, when I get someone who has ears
right.
in this world, I am just blah, 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 in a ways that I've never been a big talker before. And it's like, Joan, just put a lid on it. But but anyhow, we were talking before the show. I was asking you to talk about your process for your artwork, because as people know, Thayer does psychic. How do you describe the artwork you do, and kind of what's your process when somebody wants to have a piece done?
Okay, so I have tried 3 times to do a psychic painting of Joan, because I see, I can see Joan, I can see her movement, but I haven't been able to really execute it yet. So the same way I would go into, I see the river of knowledge. I imagine it as a big river above me. And when somebody says a name or a word, that name comes down and I can read what's going on in their river. And the same thing with doing a color psychic reading, like with Joan, very much like you see her color palette, which is silver and purple. And I see it manifested in like those ancient swirls, the round spiral kind of things in an ancient way. And then it turns into roses that turn into white roses, that turn into pink roses, that there's a lot of movement underneath Joan that then transforms into other like beautiful flowers or beautiful ideas. That it's if you can imagine like a purple and a white field of grass, when the wind hits the grass and it moves and it waves back and forth. Well, when I go into Joan's energy, that's what I see with pink on top, a lot of pink. And I have 3 canvases where I've tried to do Joan, and they've never, I haven't hit the mark yet. So it's a complex reading, but it's the same. Instead of seeing somebody in words, or like we see hypnicity is restless. Okay, if hypnicity asked me that question, I was going to put it into paint. I would, I see hypnicity in a little bit of red, some silver, and I would put that in a restless line. Okay, and then I would ask for another energy or another kind of identity, and then maybe, because I think she's going to have a grandbaby pretty soon, to stretch that out, where I translate what I see into color and movement. And the best thing is not thinking about it. And perhaps I need Joan in front of me, because Joan's got many, many layers. You have many, many layers, and they're all very active. So yeah, and they're fun. They're a different way of they're a different way of reading somebody's energy. It's sort of reading
That's
it
cool.
without words. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we were saying before, that everybody taps in and spirit gives us the message in ways that we can interpret and we can understand, and it's different for everybody. But to have that extra skill to be able to translate things that you see and feel and translate that onto a canvas is wonderful tool.
Yeah, I don't always get it right. I have to get out of my own way to do it. And I think that's the big challenge of the artist. But if the painting is successful, it should give you energy and vibration when you're hanging it up on your wall. It should talk back to you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and Hypnosis said she's wearing maroon and silver today.
That's the colors I saw. So, yeah.
Well, I really love your yellow painting behind you.
That's
and
nice.
Although this room is kind of a silvery blue-gray,
yeah,
pretty much the rest of my house, inside and out, is yellow. And I don't wear yellow because it doesn't look good on me. But there's something, and I think it's because the house faces north, and I decided I visited New England, where at that time, there are a lot more yellow houses with white trim, and I just was entranced by them. And because the house faces north, having yellow inside is just a way to bring that higher, the light inside, even if it's not sunlight coming from the north side and everything. So
yellow, and it's also the heart. It's right underneath the heart chakra. It's the sense of self.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
wonderful. Oh, and here's Purple Elephant Deb H. Could I have a message from my guides, please? All right. Thank you very much.
I don't know if you can actually do this, but I'm getting you need to visit people who love you. To old friends or people um, that you have a long attachment to, that you have a very familiar attachment to. I don't know if they're dead or alive, but I'm getting that you kind of need that recharge. Um, like I have a friend from high school that um, when I call her up, we talk for 3 hours, and I just feel a warmth and a love and a connection that I don't feel that much anymore. But we had such a strong connection when we were young that energy, it brought a new love, a new energy, a new perspective, a new identity, and the remembrance of a very loving, close relationship, which isn't really active now because they live in Maine and I live in New Mexico. But to but when I get that call, there's the recharge and remembrance and feeling of that closeness. And I'm getting the message that whether you physically travel or you talk, that your heart needs a recharge. Your sort of heart and your spirit needs that close recharge, and to make a conscious effort to do it. It's sort of like getting instead of getting a blood transfusion, you're getting a love transfusion. And it's like my friend is always there, but I just am so busy and caught up in what's happening now. I forget to reconnect with that love. And that's sort of what I'm getting for you. Um, uh, and I hope that makes sense.
Oh, I love tapping into your energy. Well, that was lovely there, so thank you. And I really do love tapping into Deb's energy because it is so deep and strong and peaceful, and it's just kind of what you want. And it's the the depth of your knowing and being and giving is so beautiful. It's the thing that people cling to and have probably come to you throughout your life, and people come and depend on you. But they are saying you need to find that. You need a way to feed that because you don't want to let yourself just be depleted by giving, giving, giving all the time. Find somebody who can be you for you, because others come to you because they love that. It's sort of like an ohm vibration that you have. It's
Yes. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really beautiful. It's really really cool, and yeah. So I wrote down peace, depth, strength, power. You're the steady energy. You you have to find you for you, the strength, because you've given so much to others. You way to have that show up. And one way to find it is in nature. One way, just sitting and listening to a babbling brook. And if you can't find a babbling brook, find a recording of that, either, audio or video or something like that. Uh, just sit in your backyard, feel the breeze, feel the sun on your skin, tune in. Another way to do it is to look for uh, music that's at that miracle vibration. I got this thing that somebody referred to me. Let's see, it's called, I have to go back out of the Insight Timer, INSIGHT timer. And it's got all kinds of, everything from yoga classes and lectures and all that kind of stuff, but it's a free app. And um, and you can get all kinds of music there. So I just go into the music and search for the miracle tone, or you find out what that is. I think it's like 452 or whatever, and you can just kind of test out all these different things. And for people who do Reiki, they have free Reiki music with bells at different, 2, 3, 5 minutes, and all of that too. And Deb H, I'll find the one that I really love that that just kind of takes you there. And it's kind of that deep resonance that sort of resets me. And after you do it for a couple of times, it'll just bring you right where you need to be. But everybody has their own, music for kind of like increasing the vibe, getting a really, really high vibe to, the type of thing you might listen to right before doing a reading or something, or this type of thing that really grounds and centers and sort of feeds the soul. That it's like if somebody had a big, huge gong and it went off. Oh, there's another thing you could look into, like doing a sound bath type of thing. That might help. But I agree entirely with Thayer that it would be beneficial for you to find a way to feed your soul, because you give to so many.
And I completely agree with Joan that maybe going out in the car and setting a chair by a river or someplace beautiful in nature and sitting there all day and just doing nothing but going out and getting that recharge, especially if you could find a nice place next to water. But nature is a great way to, and do that often, to really rebalance and recharge. Joan has got it right on the money. So
thank you. She'll look for it. And you're right, she needs a recharge. And it's, if you need to cross some days off on your calendar and just say, I'm taking a mental health day, and even if there were things planned, give yourself some time, because you can't give to others unless, we all say it, but it's easy to say and it's harder to do, right, to feed yourself and feed your soul.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I know you did the move, you've had health problems, your whole energy base has changed and moved and been interrupted. And it's kind of like you got to find another way to plug in, and the recharge is correct. And so you can just rebalance. And there's many, many different ways, but I do see that as something that's would be very beneficial for you.
See, I haven't been as present as I used to be in the community in recent months. So I didn't know that you'd moved to Deb H. But as you were talking about the move there, what came to mind was I saw a grand piano. And, after you move any kind of piano, you have to retune it. So I saw a grand piano and the guy with the tuning fork coming in to have to, okay, now we're going to tune this up so it can play beautifully in this environment.
Rebalance the vibrations. Yep. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Joan and I are in total kismet on this. It's the rebalancing of the vibration. And when I moved from the East Coast to here, I actually had a friend of mine, Yamini, take my energetic ley lines and transfer them here. So I could be rebalanced and reharmonized to the land. And it made a big difference for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now say that again. And what kind of specialty did this person have that he or she could do this?
This is Yamini. She does rhythm. And I'm not sure what that is. She's in Houston, Texas. I can send you her link. She does soul rebalancing. She's been one of my teachers for a long time.
Cool.
Like when my dog got taken, stolen, I called her and she gave me a Buddhist prayer or a Buddhist way of breathing to thank Chance for his service to me and to let him go with grace. She does. She goes, oh yeah, he was taken. She's able to do that, but she also gives you exercises and things to do to kind of recenter yourself. She's very good. She's like, it's called rhythm. And when I moved here, I was not feeling grounded or balanced. And I don't know how she did it, but she moved my energy points from the East Coast to here. So now this is home. I haven't left any kind of strings or anything there. So
cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. Everybody needs help, right?
Yeah, definitely. I
You don't
keep
have to
saying I
recommend.
don't have the. Yep, that's it. And she
Yeah,
said, just time for a tune-up. Good for you,
yeah.
dear.
Well, we love you, Deb. You know,
Yeah, and
yeah,
we love all these people who have come here today. And it was kind of nice. We had a nice sort of private conversation,
yeah,
almost private.
yeah.
And thank you. I thank you, Thayer. And tell us again how people get in touch with you if they want to have a color
If
painting
you
done.
want to have a painting or a reading, or my paintings are fairly reasonable. Includes shipping, packing and shipping. Can be $100 or up. So, and then I can do like a reading for you, or a mediumship reading. I've gotten pretty good at that. ThayerBoo2@gmail.com. I don't have a website or anything like that. That stuff's hard for me to do.
Yeah,
Uh, but I do want to thank Joan. Joan and I always work so well with you. We
that's
always seem
fun.
to arch really well. Deb and I arch that we can, get the kismet going. It
Yeah,
feels so
yeah.
nice. It's a nice collaboration.
Yeah, well, I think I just enjoy it so much, and I thank you so much for coming. And if anybody wants to book a reading with me, I feel like I can do this again, and my contact info is in the show notes, and you can just it's by donation, so there's not the stress on me of saying, oh, did I give enough? So I'll do the reading, and they're an hour, and then I'll send you a link, and you can give whatever you want, if anything. So there's
And
that.
if you want a love reading, Joan's giving me 2 love readings. I had my eye on a couple of guys, and I go, okay, Joan, what do you think? And she's always right. She's always
Oh,
a
good.
good like that. So if you need a love reading, Joan's your lady. She's very good
Great.
at it. So
Well, thank you very much. But I love you, and I love everybody who came here today. And thanks for kind of having fun with
yeah,
us.
it's
And
fun.
we'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you
Mwah.
later, guys. Thanks. Be
Bye
well.
now.